Hello, welcome back to the Creative Amplifiers. I am here, as you can see, back from Creator Camp. Had a fantastic time. I've got a dock pop, which he very kindly gave me, fits beautifully on my Rode Procaster. Now, the main question is, why am I here on my own? Well, what was the perfect trio seems to be maybe not so perfect anymore, and is a little bit more of a solo. The trio seemed to be getting a little bit more of a duo. I think it might have been because I had a fantastic time. I met a new best friend from Bobby Las Vegas, and in the monetization workshop at camp, he gave me first prize. We bonded over some Tex-Mex and some margaritas and had a wonderful time. And so, yeah, Lisa and Neil not quite so happy about that. I think they were a little bit concerned that maybe everything was starting to shift a little bit, which was amazing because, as you can see, at the start of camp, we were having a wonderful time. We had our live stream from the Airbnb. We set up our live shows at Creator Camp, and I thought everything was going really well. Now, you may well hear at some stage that they think I'm just actually sunning myself in the Canary Islands and just sort of having a good time, and I'm the one disappearing. Or maybe while I'm there, I'm also going to be playing golf. But to be honest, I think it's just a ruse. Like I say, the three maybe becoming two, and maybe I'm now just on my own.
Well, that was fun.
Well, follow that. We don't need to do the show now.
And
That's
how do we
it.
follow that?
Well, what can I say? Welcome
Yes.
everybody to the Creative Amplifiers early Halloween special. Lisa, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Bear with me and with my my dear friend here. We came back from camp with a couple of colds, so I'm gonna do my best to articulate and not sound too froggy, but we'll see how it goes. Other than that, I'm great.
Great.
Camp was amazing, right?
It was
an amazing week.
Second time around for camp. Yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves, and thank you to everybody who joined us for CCTV Live as well. It was a blast. What's your sort of favorite moments of Creator Camp this year, Lisa? Obviously, it was different than last year.
I think just just the beginning of seeing old friends and meeting new people, and then just developing these new relationships along the way. There's some camp people are the best, like just good folk.
Good folk indeed.
Good folk indeed, yes.
Well, we had a nice nice time. Yeah, the same. I think getting other people coming up, watching us, and then participating in CCTV, telling everybody about themselves. First time for people who'd sort of been live, especially on the Ecamm channel, and then meeting up with old friends. You know, it felt like sort of getting the old band back together and seeing some familiar faces and meeting new people as well. There's lots of new people that sort of came to camp, which was really cool and really interesting, and something that I thoroughly enjoyed, meeting new people. And speaking of old friends and new friends, we've got a ton of people in the chat, so let's start with that first before we bring our wonderful guest on. There's so many people here already, so let's say hello to Marcus. So hopefully this comes up. Where are the hamsters? Marcus, we're trying to keep this hamster free tonight because obviously we're trying to do an early Halloween theme. We've changed the layout of the show a little bit. And as you can see, Mark isn't with us at the moment. And we should say that Mark hasn't been ousted from the Creative Amplifiers team. Far from it. He's actually decided to take another break. And he's actually now in somewhere in a Spanish island, sunning himself, having a few cocktails, no doubting, having dinner. And we may or may not see him later. Let's see what happens there. We also have Roy in the show. Hello, Roy. Thank you for joining us. We've got Tornado Marketing. Thank you for joining us as well. We've got George in the house. King George. Hello, welcome, George. Dear me, we have so many people. So, our guest tonight...
I'm sorry. I have to jump into this one comment from Marcus. Answer this. Was your favorite moment when I joined you on CCTV? Was that your favorite moment of camp when he joined us?
Was that my favorite moment?
It was mine.
Oh,
that's what
I have no favorites,
yes,
Lisa. Dear, oh dear. And Roy actually says, what do we do when the countdown timer ticks by? Well, I'm furiously trying to work out whether this thing is streaming or not. I have so many new Stream Deck buttons in front of me because Mark is the one that typically runs the show. So I'm sweating and furiously trying to work out what's going on and making sure everything's running and then looking at all the comments. The main thing is to get the comments coming in. So yes.
Yes.
Anyway, and Dina is here as well. Hello, Dina.
Hey,
Thank you
Dina.
for joining us. We've got so many people. And Gretchen's in the house.
Yeah, so
Goodness
great.
me.
Hey, Gretchen. My goodness.
They're all here to see Johnny. They're not here to see you or I.
I
You know
know.
that. We're going to see how a great guest. Anyway, without further ado, let's bring on our guest. Let's bring on Johnny Eliassant. Here he is. Hey, Johnny. Welcome
Hi,
to
guys.
the show. How you doing, Johnny?
Thank you. I'm doing outstanding. How you guys doing?
Very well.
We're
apart
good.
from our colds, of course, but we're so happy to see you here. And let's dive right in. Thanks for joining us tonight, Johnny. And first off, it's your second time at Creator Camp, and tell us why did you come back and what was different about this year's Creator Camp over the first one.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I mean, I appreciate it. Listen, I think I'm your first guest since camp. So it's gonna be crazy, right? That's why everybody coming.
The wheels are coming off, basically. The wheels are coming off. Yeah, and it's Creative Amplifiers live. We're not CCTV anymore. It's just us.
That's it.
So just go for
the
it, Johnny.
people. No, listen. The first, I was one of the first people at camp last year, and it was fun. You know, we didn't know what to expect. Everybody was shy. You know, well, some of the people you only saw them online, and we had such a great time. Now, this second time around, I'm like, there's no way it can be better than the first time. Because, you know, after you do it once and you think you can do it better the second time, and then it's never like that. Well, I was wrong. They did an outstanding job. I mean, the activities were different. They learned from last camp, and they were able to put something like, I don't know how to put it, man. I've never seen anything like this. I've been to a lot of different conferences, but this is not a conference. They call it camp. It is not a camp. It's more like a family reunion. So everybody getting together and sharing ideas, sharing opinions, having a great time. So I had a blast, and I think next year they're probably gonna do it even bigger and better.
Yeah, and you brought your son with you this year, right? Which was interesting.
I did.
Yeah, did he want to come along because he wanted to sort of see what goes on at Creator Camp and is interested in streaming of some kind, right? You mentioned before.
Yes. Well, originally it's supposed to be me and my wife. So we couldn't find babysitter for a little one. So she was like, well, we don't have a babysitter. I would not be able to go. So you go ahead and get the information and bring the information back. And I was talking to my older son. He said, well, I would love to go. I don't want to babysit, but I'll go. So I said, okay, fine. Because he heard about streaming. So he was like, yeah, I would like to go. And he came in. I don't know if you can tell, he's a little bit introverted. You have to get to know him for him to come out his shelf. And he was like, Dad, I never knew this existed. How do you guys do all of that? And you have people from YouTube everywhere from around the world. I was like, yes. So they usually play video games nonstop. Like if you have kids, you know they play video games nonstop. So now he's trying to figure out, okay, how do we use Ecamm so his video games can go to Ecamm and then go live instead to go straight from the console, because he liked the different things we do in Ecamm, like bring the comments, you know, add your own sound effects and all of those amazing things Ecamm does. So yeah, pretty soon that's what we're gonna be doing. So now I have homework. Now I have to figure out how to use Ecamm with video games.
And there's a good tutorial, right? I was going to say that it from my experience and looking at the channels and people that use Ecamm, there's not, that I know of, and correct me if I'm wrong, audience, a ton of people that are using Ecamm for live streaming their gaming. Typically it's OBS or another platform, right? And something like that. So this is great. I mean, if you can do some tutorials on how to get streamers who are streaming their games using Ecamm, I mean, that's maybe an untapped resource that maybe more people who are using Macs will potentially use games. And does he use a PS5 or a Xbox and things like that, or does he play games on his Mac specifically?
they use, well, we have a whole bunch of them. We got the Xbox, we got the PS5, we got Nintendos. I mean, you name it. We have all the game console. But he used Xbox. He used Xbox. My other kids use PlayStation. Now there was one gentleman when I first joined Ecamm who used to play video games using Ecamm. I forgot his name. It was Velt something. But he's one of the person that I know who use Ecamm to play video games. I don't know if he creates some content, but he the first time that I tried for my kids, he was the one helping me out. So definitely now, after a few years, I really know how to connect those things together now. So I'm gonna be working on that to make sure I put them online.
Interesting. That's cool. And did your son enjoy himself then at camp? I mean, he obviously saw some famous YouTubers there, and we had a great talk, and so on.
Well, yeah, he did. It did. It's amazing. I was something happened to me. Before we went to camp, right? Leslie was in a commercial, and I was telling them, "Hey, I know this guy." They're like, "No, there's no way, Dad. You see this guy on YouTube, and you say you know him." I said, "Yes, I have a picture with him." They're like, "No, there's no way." And then after that, we saw Leslie on a training video for one of the hospitals in Orlando, and there's no way. So I pulled my picture from last year with Leslie and showed him. You know, they was like, "Oh, he wasn't lying." So even that, he didn't believe me. When we get there, and I remember as soon as he saw Leslie, he said, "Oh, you wasn't lying, Dad. He's here." So he was like, "Oh, he is here."
There you go. And you just went through your Rolodex of photographs of all the famous people you've met and said, "Told you can see him on YouTube as well." There you go.
I sure did. So,
that's
cool. Your kids don't believe you.
No, of course not. You got to give them social proof now. That's the way it is. If it's not on Instagram, it's not believable.
That's it.
Right?
Doesn't happen. You have to bring the evidence. You have to bring the evidence.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so glad you and your son enjoyed camp. And you mentioned next year. So plan is to go back next year if camp starts up again in 2025?
If they have it, the plan is to go back next year. Now, I don't know if I'm bringing my wife or if my older son's coming or if the other one's coming, if all of us are going to register to come.
Wow.
I don't know.
All piling. There you go. That'd be fun.
I think y'all should go.
Yeah, maybe all of us. Yeah, maybe all of us. Well, by then, our little ones will be older now. So they'll be bigger. Because the difficulty, October, they're still in school. Right. So that was the difficulty. But if it was in the summer, it will just be a family trip.
Am I sensing a family channel? I don't know.
I know. You say that. You need to clip this little part to tell my wife. I always tell her, "Hey, let's do a family channel." I mean, but yeah, so it'll be great.
I think it's a great idea. See, you've got two niche ideas already coming out of the show today. I mean, it's just full of content. It's all the creator love, I think, especially in the chat and everything. There's a lot of love for you in the chat as well. We'll get to that in a moment. Everybody's really happy that you're here today. I wanted to take you back a little bit to sort of the days of when you were in the military, and then coming out of that, you created your a podcast and for veterans, and I had a look through it yesterday, and I noticed you haven't posted in a while, but there was quite a few episodes on there originally. So tell us a little bit about how that all started and why you wanted to create that specific podcast, because I found it quite interesting.
When I was active duty and we were getting to retire, before podcast was like everybody's talking about podcasts, me and my wife, we used to do a little podcast at night. I was laying down, we talking, we do a podcast, we talk about families, we talk about different things. So I told her, you know what, I should do a podcast. She's like, well, you should do one for veterans, because you're gonna come out, talk to different veterans to see, how do they cope, how do they deal with the transitions. So that's why I started doing this podcast. We call it Vets Talk. But I didn't know what I was doing. I know I had some good guests, I didn't have no run-up show. I did not have anything. So I'm like, okay, let's put this together. And it's right after I met Doc. So everything you saw I was copying, trying to figure out is from Doc and Fulgens and Anna. So I put this together, and I start sending invitation, and some of my friends, other people that I didn't know during the podcast, and he get out of the blue. I'm like, okay, I'm stuck now because I couldn't find guests because I didn't know how to request guests. I didn't know anything about podcasts like it was right now. So that's why I stopped, because I started creating content in Creole. So we said, okay, we finished with this season. So let's recalibrate and figure it out. So last year I went to Podcast Fest, have a lot of information. I got some more information from Doc channels when he's talking about podcasts, and Katie. We're thinking we bring it back to life, and we started to send invitation again to restart for seasons 2. So that's in the works. That's one of the things we're trying to figure out. Okay, I know I have a lot of stuff in my plates, but I do not want to create another channel. So we want to keep it in the channel. So we're trying to keep it the same way so we can send invitation, have different guests to come, because now I have a better idea what I was doing. Before, I had no clue.
Right. Lisa.
Well, I was just about to ask you ask you a question about how's your content creation journey changed. You just answered it for me. Yeah. But what do you see when now you have all this information and knowledge? Do you see yourself educating more people to use the various things that you've learned? Because you know enough. You're doing shows. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I do. I just don't do it on my English channel. I do a lot of content in Creole to educate my community, because I'm Haitian American. So a lot of the people who follow my channel is in the Ouvri Barrier channel, which is a Creole channel. So I use the knowledge that I acquired during my time of learning these skills, and then I teach them how to do it. Now, remember, I don't know if you guys look at my channel, my first video, if you see my first video, it was terrible. It was terrible. And a friend of mine told me, hey, there's a product I heard about called Ecamm. Maybe you can use it because it looks like you have to pay for it. He was using the free software they have out there. And then I Googled Ecamm, and Doc was the one who popped out. So I was like, oh, this guy is bald. He's a veteran. I like the way he talks. Yeah, I think he's pretty cool. So I start watching what he's doing, and that's how I discovered Ecamm. And then I start using Ecamm. So now with that knowledge, I've created stuff for Ecamm before, just 2 episodes that I put in my channel to see how it works. Now, since I've been bringing so many guests from that community, now I have a lot of questions. It's okay, how do you use this? Why you use this software? Why you don't use the other one? So if the little secret, I write something that and left on my table and at Ecamm camp, you remember? Katie said, you have to write something and something. You remember that? You guys don't remember? Yeah, so I write something a little on my table. So hopefully pretty soon I'll probably start creating some content on how to use Ecamm, but those content will be in Creole so that community see, okay, exactly how we use it, and they can use it too, at the benefits, because they create a lot of content as well.
So what would you tell the people that you're going to be teaching? Like what hurdles do they need to get over to just be able to just start, and what knowledge would you give them?
Oh, fear.
Yeah.
Okay, get over the fear. Trust me. It looks scary, but it's not. It's all in your head, right? Because we have that defense mechanism that we have to protect ourselves. So that's the reason why nobody want to start. Like, especially like if you have a business, if you have a hobby, you have something to tell the world, come out and say it. Trust me, everybody who don't like you or you think don't like you, they probably love you. Okay? And people you think who don't love you, they just haven't heard from you yet. Besides, you're just putting it out. You don't have to receive it. There's a wonderful button called block if somebody is bothering you, if somebody's trolling you, okay? Other than that, is come out and create it and just make the video and just drop it. That's it. That's what you have to do.
I love that. To get over the fear and just put forward and do it. Yeah, that's fantastic advice.
Because that fear will cripple you, man. That fear will cripple you. Even now, before I go live, I still get scared. I still get the sweaty palm. I still feel like, oh my God, is it gonna go right? Especially I consider myself a perfectionist. And that's what took me so long to start. Because I was wondering, well, what happened if they don't like it? What happened if things go wrong? All of those was fear. But Then I start putting it out, and you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed how many people who's gonna come. Your tribe will find you, and they're gonna come and gravitate towards you, and it's so much rewarding.
I think that's an excellent message, though. Your tribe will find you, and I think that's one of the hurdles that people have to overcome when you start to live stream, because we've all been there. Where, I mean, I started my YouTube journey just doing videos, and unlike you, some of my first YouTube videos are not the best, but they never are, right? That's how you learn and get better. You gotta iterate and just do one thing better each time to get better at your content. But live streaming can be quite, I guess, soul destroying originally at the start, right? Because you're streaming to nobody, and there's nobody there, and you look in that little counter, and the counter still says 0. So you know nobody's watching you. So you're like, well, okay, well, nobody's watching me, that's fine. But the way I always looked at it is that even if nobody's watching me, that's a little piece of content now that's going to be on YouTube that I can use, that people may find in the future, that will organically maybe grow or drive people to your channel. And little by little, you get a little bit of a following, and people either find you on your channel, they like what you're doing, and they'll come and hang out with you for a little bit. So I think the live streaming community is really nice. Yes, Lisa, sorry.
I just want to, there's some, oh, I'm sorry. One thing in there is a chance to experiment and to, if you look, a lot of people don't like to watch themselves, but I think it's really important to play back and watch what you did and just see how the things are flowing and, get a sense of what it actually looks like and hover from above instead of judging yourself with it.
I like that.
There's a little secret. It's never 0. Even if it looks like 0, somebody's always watching. They're probably not clicking the button to make them visible. Someone is always watching. And believe it or not, the right person, when they need you, they're going to come to you.
That's right.
It's never 0.
Right. No,
when you go live, it's never 0.
There's somebody out there in the ether, right? Let's just go to some...
watching.
Let me go to a couple of quick comments for you. Here's a lot of love for Johnny in the house. So Keisha says, for me, Johnny is the best teacher, for real. I mean,
oh yeah, that's for my that's for my community. Thank you so much, Kiara.
You know what? No problem. And Marcus says, if I waited until I knew what I was doing, nothing would ever happen. Marcus, true words indeed. Indeed. And just a quick comment on Creator Camp. It was a love fest of content creators hugging around a fantastic product, Ecamm Live. Let's all get our arms around Ecamm Live. Aren't Ken and Glenn the sweetest, easier going people just to talk to? I've never met a bunch of developers who are just so easy to talk to and to get the product shaped in a way based on community feedback and so on. It's just a great community to be part of, and we're so happy to be here. And Tornado Marketing. And I'm sorry, I forgot your name there, Tornado Marketing. You can tell me what your actual real name is in the comments. I am forgetting about that, so sorry about that. It is very true. Somebody is always watching. They are indeed. One of the things I was going to ask you, Johnny, is that you have on your bio on LinkedIn, because, we do stalk our guests before they come on just to find out a little bit of information for you.
Seasoned traveler.
Research, seasoned traveler, world traveler. Tell us about your travel, because Lisa's a keen traveler as well. So tell us a little bit about traveling and stuff like that. And then Lisa can ask you some questions on that.
Now, I spent 20 years in the military, and because of that, I travel a lot, right? I travel through the military and do a lot of things. Now, it's offer a lot of opportunity, but doing travel as a civilian is different, right? You don't have no responsibility. You don't have stuff to take care of. So when I retired, me and my wife, we decided, what, the best thing to do is go around the world and visit and do different things. So last year, we did something was different. So last year, we went every month, we went to a different city or a different state to explore the United States, okay? And then now, we are planning for 2026, I think. So we're gonna, 2025, we're doing another tour, but this time we're doing it in coordination with conferences or festivals, so we can get a chance to do the content creation things that we love, and then the travel at the same time. Now, the reason I travel, life is so short, and sometimes you don't understand things until you go places where there's different people, different cultures, and who see things different way. And that will open your eyes. And all of the bickering, all of the arguing, all of the stuff that you took for granted, you will no longer do so. So that's the reason why we make sure that we travel a lot and get to do different things. Besides, we all come here for one time, one way we're going, right? One exit. So before we exit, we might as well visit as much as we can.
I agree with you. And I think it's a good time to kind of step back from your routine and kind of observe what you were doing, what you need to get rid of, what you need to do now, and just realign, regroup. And I do hope you have been well documenting this, because yet there's another, at least a playlist. Not another channel, another playlist.
It's amazing you say that. I did so bad. The thing is, I don't know, yesterday I did a live on my channel, and I was thinking about, like, my kids was like, you didn't take a lot of videos or pictures. When I go there, I try to live the moment, you know? And sometimes, which is bad when you're a content creator, sometimes I forget, oh, let me take a quick video of this. Oh, let me take a quick picture of this. Because I try to live the moment and have the memories stay. But you're right. That should be another playlist. that should be another playlist. So
totally another playlist. But I agree with you. You want to stay in the moment, and because once the moment's passed, it's passed, and you missed it if you're behind the lens, you know. So it's finding that balance between the two. So I'm with you.
It's a difficult balance of creating content and then be in the moment. Like for me, like for example, when again for camp, when we went to camp, I was like, man, I need to get as much knowledge as possible. Every now and then I grab a video or take a quick picture until I'm like, man, I didn't have enough video. I'm missing a lot of people in here, you know, but it's all in here. So I just need to do a better job to balance it, you know, because for the content creation part. But maybe when we do a travel in 2025, that way we can have a better playlist for you guys.
I'm waiting. I can't wait.
There's going to be so many channels that you're going to be having to deal with when you leave this show. We're making notes here about how many things. That
Notice I said playlist, so he doesn't have to have multiple channels.
I'm not doing I'm not doing any channels anymore, because I started with the Johnny E channel.
Right.
It's supposed to be for everything. Then I was like, okay, I'm creating content in Creole, so I open a Creole channel. And then because it was so much work to be done in the Creole channel, I neglected the Johnny E channel. Okay. So now having two channels to create content for both channels, I regretted it. I should have one channel in different playlists and creating those different content. Like if you need a good example of what your channel is supposed to look like, look at the Ecamm channel. It's not a channel, it's a TV station. They have shows, they have different playlists, different shows, different time. I'm like, why did I thought about that? Okay. Because now you can go to it and whatever you need, you can find it in one channel without having another channel. So for people who have a lot of channel, hey, more power to you. I only have two, and I'm fighting with it. I'm fighting with it. So I'm not creating no more channels. I'm creating playlists.
And I think that's smart to think of yourself as a media company, or I tell people, think of yourself as a magazine. You open up a magazine, there's different sections. So why can't you do that people discourage it, but why can't you do that on your YouTube channel? Because we want to know about all of you and all that you do.
It used to be a time where you were just one way, but now you're not just one way. You do multiple things. You do different things. You capture different audiences. You know, some people might be interested in travel. Some people might be interested in your content creation courses. Some people might be interested in different things. So you have it as a playlist. I think that's the way to go.
I think that's a really smart way of doing it, because I've seen people, I've looked at YouTube channels and other people's YouTube channels saying, well, if you're doing something different, then really you're going to dilute the brand, whatever the brand is, whether that's you as an individual or so on. If you then put something on your channel that's not the same for your audience, you're giving your audiences mixed messages and they don't know what your channel is all about. But I agree with you too that it's best to maybe just segment your channel up either into a magazine format or a TV show or a media company or whatever, and split those into playlists. Because at the end of the day, I think the people are coming to your channel to see you. So if they're going to see you in a vlogging environment, they want to learn about your travel, they want to get to know the personality behind who is this person that's delivering these videos. And I think that's important, because you can be the best presenter and have the best content in the world, but sometimes that could just be a front and people don't actually know the real you. So show them a little bit of your personality, show them a bit about who you are, what you do outside of what they know you for. And as you said, more people will follow you, and your tribe will find you. And I think it's great, especially with these playlists now. You can put on what you want. So it's a great point that you made there about the Ecamm channel.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you, I know you mentioned that you sort of discovered Ecamm, but how long have you been using Ecamm for now, sort of in anger? I know you dabbled with it originally when you were testing out and so on. So are you an early adopter of Ecamm, or are you quite new to it?
No, I think originally, well, I can pinpoint it, but I think it's 2020. 2020, that's when I started using Ecamm. It might be late 2019 when I discovered it, but in 2020, that's when I get involved. I start participating on Doc Show, and then I think that's when I met Fojens and Anna. They had different shows, and I started following them. Yeah, so it was in 2020. That's when I started.
And with regards to using Ecamm daily now, when you're creating some of your sort of content that isn't live, are you using Ecamm for your recorded content as well, or do you use something else for that? Or is Ecamm your main production system now for everything that you do, content creation wise, on both channels, by the way?
Listen, I use Ecamm for everything. I mean, I just use it for everything. Okay. If you invite me to your Zoom, I'm showing up in Ecamm. You invite me to your team meeting, I'm showing up with Ecamm. Your Google Meet, my videos, I'm showing up with Ecamm. Even when I create stuff because we have a small media company that people trying to, hey, can you make this video? Or they send me a video, can you make this better for us? Can you add? I'm using Ecamm. Okay. Sometimes I even record something on my phone and I will bring it to Ecamm, add the overlays, add everything that I need, and then put it out. So Ecamm is everything I use. That's it.
I love it. A diehard.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I was so upset. I start using TikTok more often, and I discover you can use TikTok Studio. And I was so upset because in TikTok you cannot download the studio on Mac. So you know what that means? I cannot use Ecamm. I was so mad. So I complained. Don't tell nobody. I complained to Ken and Glenn. I was like, there should be a way.
Don't worry. Nobody watches this show. It's fine.
Nobody watching. Right? Don't tell anybody. I complained to Ken and Glenn. I said, I cannot use Ecamm on TikTok. Why? It should be a way. Now, if you have an RTMP code, I think you can use it. But to get an RTMP code from TikTok is like it's like requesting a security clearance. You know,
it'll take a while, and you might not get it. Exactly,
and you might not get it. You know, and then I'm like,
you don't meet the criteria, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know why they do that. Meanwhile, if you have a Windows computer, you can use it in Windows.
I don't understand that. I think there is some criteria, isn't there, about what level of followers and things like that you have to have before you can get this. Even before you can get the ability to go live on TikTok and stuff. But I think they should make the barrier to entry much easier for people, because with YouTube it's just a couple of videos and so on, and then you can start doing that. But it's pretty easy, and it should be easier for people. But TikTok's there, and people love it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people from my audience is there all the time. So when I go live, I'll put my phone and add my phone as that option. But if there was a way for me to take my Ecamm and show up to TikTok, listen, it'll be game over. Oh man, it'll be game over. I'm telling you.
So we have a couple of comments on what we've just said. Tora says playlists makes total sense. A one-stop shop under one channel. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the way forward. And Roy says he learns by doing and teaching. Yeah, and making those mistakes on the way, Roy. I think that's the way I've learned as well, just by doing stuff and trying to solve problems for people. And if I've got an issue, then somebody else on the interwebs has got the same problem, and maybe that'll help out with people as well. We've got another guest that's joined us as well at the moment. So let me just.
Who might that be?
I don't know. I don't know who he is. You'll have to give me a thumbs up if this young man is. Thumbs up is there. Now, let me go to this other scene. This is where Mark's skills comes in and mine doesn't. Let's see. Oh no, we need a 4-up. Oh, there he is. There's Mark. I didn't have a scene for 4 of us. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no, disaster.
See, disaster. Let me add. Let me add this. Let me find my 4-up guest. I don't even know if I have one.
We can have a 4-up. There's a 4-up somewhere.
Oh my!
I thought we did.
The beauty of Ecamm, you can put it in preview mode.
I'm searching. Talk amongst yourselves. So in the meantime, I'm just going to be searching through here to find my hosts. Where's this?
Lisa, I'm jealous. You see where Mark at? Mark is enjoying his time.
I know.
He's outside.
I don't know.
He's in the sunshine.
He's in the sunshine. Well. Look at this.
We're smiling.
We're smiling.
Happy.
Yeah, it's 25 degrees. It's beautiful here. Just had a gorgeous meal. Well, I'm doing my best. I couldn't miss you, Johnny.
Make sure you bring us some sample from that meal, okay?
Yeah, what did you have to eat? You know me. I need to know.
The sirloin steak with a bit of roquefort. Nice salad on the sides. Yes, absolutely delicious. A bit of red wine just to make it go down easier. And I'm sorry I'm not with you in person, and sorry that I've had to leave you in the lurch with everything, but I wanted to at least come on and say hello, and couldn't miss your conversation, Johnny, and everything. So yeah, thanks so much for being here.
That's the best I can do at short notice, Mark. Look at that. You look beautiful anyway. It's just like a sort of like our own little living pumpkin right in the middle.
There we are.
Beautiful.
Yeah, let me make my arm a little bit longer, and at least it then kind of works.
It's my
it's like some more crystal ball, isn't it?
My little crystal ball. I see many playlists for you, Johnny. I see.
Yes.
It's so nice of you to join us, Mark. So did you have a nice dinner? It's all good.
Yeah, beautiful dinner. We've been al fresco. It's lovely and warm here in the Canary Islands. This feels very apt, really, because it's kind of these sort of, using all of our skills and puppeteering for the rest of us. So to be literally placed in that position seems absolutely perfect.
Let me just put the horns over the top of you there somewhere. If I can just, work out.
Go get the horns.
Well, thanks for joining us, Mark. I mean, you can hang around, stay here if you want, but I guess you're going to be like partying now, or.
Yeah, we're going to finish up. Maybe a bit of a dessert, maybe a little bit of we've got to stroll back to the apartment and all that sort of stuff. But I wanted to make sure I could at least pop in and say hello and appreciate you both holding the fort. Say hi to Johnny and everyone who's watching and everyone who's been in the comments. Really appreciate you taking the time to support Creative Amplifiers. And yeah, we've had an absolute blast since Creator Camp as well. So yeah, looking forward to how season 2 pans out over the next few weeks and months.
And let's just clear up the air before anybody does get worried that, the video that you posted, we're all good, right? Just to make sure there's no animosity there,
I think we're good. It kind of started as just I'm just going to literally post a couple of things just to say hello, sorry I'm not there. And then I kind of got involved in the editing process and kind of enjoyed myself a little bit.
Well, that's wonderful.
It got taken away a little bit. But yes, no, absolutely. The three of us are all good. Thank you.
Good. Just wanted to reassure we miss you. We just wanted to reassure the audience that there's no, there's no infighting now going on since CTT, because we had a nice front at CCTV, but behind the scenes, it's like the police. We didn't like each other when we played in the band, but Anyway, all joking aside, thank you so much.
Pleasure. I think we enjoyed ourselves when we were there. Behind the scenes, there were 1 or 2 cocktails and 1 or 2 very pleasant meals and things that happened. So I think we're all good. I think we know where we're going, and it usually involves food and drinking, having a nice time, and lots of Ecamm learning, which is the main thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, we just said how much we enjoyed ourselves meeting new people and meeting old friends as well. It was wonderful to catch up with everybody. So
yeah, incredible. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to pop in. I really appreciate Neil holding the fort and sorting it all out. And
No
I will
problem.
say goodbye. Enjoy the rest of the show,
Good.
and
Yeah.
can't wait to see you in a week or so.
Yeah,
Yes.
enjoy yourself,
Miss you.
Mark.
Thank you,
Stay
Mark.
safe. See you
Yeah.
soon. Bye. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
All right. Well, thank you for Mark for joining us. And Dina says, you three are adorable. Well, we are like a little family that we never knew we had until we met each other. See, and this is the thing about Creator Camp, right? You can forge new relationships, you can meet new people, and you can have long-lasting friendships with people that you meet at camp. And it's not like a standard conference like we've all been to, right, Johnny? It's just completely different.
It's nothing like that.
No, it's nothing like that at all.
If you haven't been to a Creator Camp with Ecamm, I don't know what you have to do, but I think those of us who went the first year with grandfather, we should have a seat every time.
I know that's the problem, right?
For those of you who's coming for the first time, get your ticket early.
Yeah. You got to book early to avoid disappointment.
Early.
It's going to be a
Watch
lottery
out for
system.
it.
The more people that want to come back, it's going to be a lottery system in the future. I think something like that. Early bird tickets or something.
But I kind of reserve my seat. I'm like, we grandfather, right? The first crew, the first camp. We got first dib.
Got to reserve it now, basically, if you want to get it for next year. My goodness me.
Seriously.
As we start to wrap up with you today, Johnny, I think Lisa wanted to just ask one last question around sort of,
what's next?
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of laid out, what you should be doing.
Man,
well, what do you see? What's next?
Listen, my basket is full, Lisa, and I'm enjoying it. Okay, I'm busy and I'm happy because I'm busy. Since Creator Camp, I have multiple projects that other company wanna work with my company to create things for them, especially during this election season. They want something semi-professional or professional. So that was like, I'm like, oh my God, overwhelming. I was surprised. So that's that. We have, like I told you, we're going to start creating some Ecamm Creole. So which means how to use Ecamm, but we're going to do it in Creole. No difference than what you guys do, how to use different scene overlays and stuff like that. The difference is we put it in Creole because I did not see, when I first discovered Ecamm, I couldn't find anything on how to use Ecamm in Creole. So I put a couple episodes out before and people interested on it. So I'm going to put more out. So we're going to do a whole playlist for that. And we're going to continue to create content. Part of my thing is creating content for the Haitian community. And those content is like, how to do your taxes, how to register your business, how to register your bank account for your business, how to create content, which is a big part of it, especially if you're business owners, how to do your resume, interview skills. And lately, we have a lot of teachers reaching out and want to be part of our show because they want to teach that community, the different opportunity that are available to them, maybe via high school or technical school or colleges, scholarships. So all of those is on the table right now, and we're trying to sort it out, schedule them, and it's a lot.
I love your plate is full. I love that you're using Ecamm and your knowledge to help other people. That's what it's all about. So
that's
I'm
it.
cheering you on here. This is awesome.
Man, I appreciate it. I mean, Ecamm just make it so easy to create what I need to create, the contents I need to create, and then because for what my community needs, with another software it will be very difficult, but with Ecamm it's so quick to do it. Now with the Ecamm and Zoom combined together, man,
the force.
The force. That's just going to get better. And one thing I wanted to point out,
when you have
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying especially like when I have a Zoom training, for example, I like to bring music, because when you're live you cannot bring certain music, you can get copyrighted. But in Zoom, bringing music, bringing regular music to Zoom and play it loud and do all kind of crazy stuff with it.
Yeah, exactly. You have freedom to do it.
That's really nice.
Great.
I just wanted to say that we had a conversation at camp, and then before camp there was those horrific storms in Florida and all the areas, and you were using sort of your channel to make sure that people were aware of the safety regulations and making sure that people were being kept up to date and so on. So I just wanted to say that's an amazing thing that you did, and a great way of supporting your community.
Yeah, again, that's the power of Ecamm, because I use Ecamm to do that. I mean, in my community, the news wasn't talking about that, at least not in Creole. Right. You know, if I was probably one of the few people, well, probably the only person putting the information out. Now, putting the information out just like it's coming from the news because of power of Ecamm was different. Okay, and we reach a lot of people. Matter of fact, even to this day, people was reaching out and saying thank you, especially some of people who was living in Tampa, was living around Sarasota area. That community, they don't watch news, okay? And if they watch news, the news is in Creole, and they watch news was coming from Haiti. So for me to pop up on the feed and to say, hey, you need to get out in case you don't know. So that was different, and again, that was amazing, and I'm glad I was able to do it.
I think it's an amazing thing to do, and we have a comment here. You are an amplifier, exactly. You're amplifying and letting people know exactly what's going on. I love that, and that's really good.
Yes, so, actually, I know who's that. Aesthetic Lab, I know who's that. That's
you know that? Okay, it's one of your tribe, right? See, your tribe is following you everywhere. We really appreciate your tribe being here. Supporting you today, Johnny, and it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. You are very welcome to stay in the Zoom room. If you've got to go, that's fine, no problem. But just to let people know where they can find you, here is Johnny's socials. If you want to get and follow Johnny's 200 channels that he's going to be setting up in the next couple of weeks, you'll be able to see a list of channels coming up. I'm just joking. It's all going to be a one playlist. We know how that's going to work now, and that's a great idea. So, Johnny, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And stick around, Johnny, if you want, and we'll get you on the show another time. But thanks for joining us, and it's great to see you at camp, and hope to see you at camp next time. We're all there together. Which get your tickets in early. You've probably got your ticket now already, anyway, haven't you? So,
I know, right? Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Johnny.
Not a problem. Thanks, Johnny. Take care of yourself. All right.
Cool.
Wonderful. Oh, there's a little message going on there. What's going on there? Let me get rid of that. How do I get rid of that? Let me just bring another one in and I'll get rid of that. That's how it works. The magic of Social Stream Ninja. Still surviving, still doing all right. I had to mute it quite a few times through that conversation there.
So was I. I was waiting for you to cut away from us so I could press and handle things there.
All right. So
it's not pretty.
It's not pretty indeed. And Kira says that she will follow Johnny everywhere he is going. Wonderful. Johnny's got a great following and a great team of people that support him, which is really nice. And again, it's just building this community using the power of Ecamm and you. So I think it's time for a quiz. So you know the deal, everybody. It is time already, I think, for a quiz. We're going to have a quiz now. And the way that this works is very simple. You'll get a quiz question. You'll get 4 answers. Only one of those answers is right. And if we've done our quiz right, only one of those answers will be right. And put it A, B, C, or D as the right answer. It should come through. We've had problems before where those letters don't come through for whatever reason. Fastest finger first. And the
otherwise, everyone's a winner.
Everybody's a winner, yeah. If nobody answers, everybody's a winner. And at the end of the season, we'll be announcing our overall global winner of season 2. That's the person who has got the most answers during this quiz. So you've got to be in it to win it. Let's roll the credits and let's start with quiz question number 1. All right.
So spooky. Who won the Content Launchpad prize? Was it A, Liz Truss, B, Lizzo, C, Liz Wilcox, or D, Liz Hurley?
All right. So you have 20 seconds on the clock. A, B, C, or D. You know what to do, people. Let's just wait and let the answers come rolling in. Ooh, there's some answers coming in already. Look at that.
Oh, there's the answers. Look at that. Wow.
There's some answers. Oh, okay. I love it. I love it. Let's see what we've got here. So, Dina says A. Okay. George, King George. Hail, King George says C. Oh, see, George is like making sure we get the C and an answer.
And that's the way to do it, though.
And then Dina changes her mind halfway through and says C. Okay, and Johnny also says C. All right, well, let's find out what the right answer is. And of course, the answer is C. Liz Hurley. Just kidding, Liz Wilcox. And just to make sure everybody was watching. So let's have a look. I think you know who won. I think George was actually the first person to come in with the answer, which was C, Liz Wilcox. So George, you are a winner. Of course.
He still reigns. George, I was trying to get the secret out, how you managed to do what you do.
And he says sometimes he's on his phone. What kind of phone is this?
I know. I don't know what phone he has. I'm confused, but he does it every time.
He's got the iPhone 28 Pro Max. That's what he's got. One that doesn't exist. All right. Question number 2. ENN is hosted by A, Katie and Doc, B, Anna and Fulgens, C, Ken and Glenn, I like to see that show, or D, Tom and Jerry. Answers now. Ooh. Yes, come on. Let's get these answers coming in. So George is laughing his head off. Not much of a secret. George, it is a secret because we still don't know what you're doing. How do you do it?
Crazy. What show would Tom and Jerry have if they were using Ecamm?
I don't know. Very Fast and Furious one.
You don't have to answer me now. You can text me later.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's another show. Johnny might want to do that as well. Tom and Jerry. Shaking his head in the room going, no more shows. No more shows. Okay. We'll let a few more answers come in due to the 15-second delay that is YouTube, but that's fine. So George is laughing at the moment. George has come up with an answer as well. George is saying B. Any more for any more? Come on, we have a few people still watching the show. I know they've all disappeared now because Johnny's off air and it's just us two, but I don't mind. I can deal with that. My ego is fine. Okay. So let's find out who the answer was and what the answer is. So ENN is hosted by, of course, Anna and Fulgens. And the winner who got in first, of course, again, this is like a foregone conclusion, is, of course, George. So, George, once again, you are a winner.
Can we just keep George's picture up during the quiz?
Yeah, just
one less button to push.
Dina says she's deferring to George. And that's basically what we all do at the moment. Johnny says, George is always on fire. George is always on fire. Okay. George, so happy that you're here. Give somebody else a chance. All right, so quiz question number 3. Which team scooped the prizes at Creator Camp 2024? Was it A, the green team, which is what we were on? Was it B, the orange team, C, purple team, or D, red team? Come on, anybody that was there should know the answer to this. Ooh, we may have somebody who's picked George to the post. That was so quick. Boom.
Wow.
In Like Flint, if anybody remembers that TV film from the 1970s. But anyway, no.
You're aging yourself.
I know, I'm fine. I liked, who was the actor's name?
I'm joking. I'm totally joking.
Does anybody know the actor's name in Like Flint? I can see his name now.
I don't remember his name.
That's not part of the quiz, but if anybody can remember the actor's name who played... Was it James Coburn? No, it wasn't James Coburn, was it? No idea. Okay. We've got a few answers coming in. We've got Johnny. Lightning fast with D. We've got George with D red. And Dina, well, you're all winners. But unbelievably, the winner obviously is, or the outright answer, should I say, is red, losing it today. And the winner of that particular round was Johnny. Johnny, you are and always will be a winner. Well done, Johnny. You pipped George to the post. You've circumvented the internet speed that is George, and you've managed to get past. Well, there you go.
Neil, I have an answer.
We do?
Who that actor was.
It was James
Coburn.
Boom.
You are George, sir.
Johnny can't believe that he's won. I know. It's amazing, Johnny. What can I say? You are a winner. You are a winner. All right. Let's get back to us two then. So thank you for participating in that quiz. Let's show people who our next guest that's coming on the show in a couple of weeks' time. We've got Homesick Mac, otherwise known as Dragon, and he's going to be coming on the show. And maybe he might play a little tune for us. Let's hope so, because he's a guitar teacher. I hope so. We've got the power of Zoom with nice audio. That should be fun. I guess we should talk about our Creator Showcase.
Who's our feature? Oh, yes. Who are we featuring this week?
This week we are featuring that intro has nothing to do with the person. Anyway, this week's Creator Showcase is Julie Di Matteo, otherwise known as the Papy Pixie, and Julie did start her craft journey in 2010, founding the Papy Pixie as a dedication to her late mother, which is wonderful. Julie teaches the art of stamping and power crafting, and there's a large catalogue of video tutorials, projects and gifts, all available on her website. And it was wonderful meeting Julie at Creator Camp, as well as many others, and be sure to check out her channel at thepaperpixie.com. Wonderful. So thanks, Julie.
It was great. We got to chat with her at CCTV. She came.
Yeah, it was nice. It was wonderful. And she was reluctant to come on, right? But we forced her. So there you go. Fun. That was fun. Dana says, Julie indeed. Yes. And this is a great thing about Creator Camp. We just love how everybody is so supportive of each other. There's never any wrong questions. People can ask whatever they want. And there's always somebody there that knows the answer to things. And it's amazing. I mean, I learned stuff this year as well. I'm sure you did as well, Lisa.
There was always a little tidbit and you're going, oh, I didn't know that. This is great. So there you go.
Do you remember what you wrote down? You don't have to tell me. I'm just saying, do you remember what you wrote down on your card on the table that Johnny was referring to before? Because in 6 months' time, we're going to get that sent back to us, and then somebody's going to say, did you execute on that? I know what I wrote.
I do.
And
I do know what I wrote.
Got a bit to do for that yet.
I think I remember what I wrote.
Good. Well, hopefully it all comes true. All your wishes come true. Sprinkle some fairy dust on it, and boom, everything will happen.
Fairy dust. All
fairy
good.
Dust. Sprinkle. All right, let's get some
merch on the perch, shall we? Let's do that. Ooh.
I forgot to switch it off. I wanted to use that all day. That sounds like my throat does in the morning anyway. I've been waiting for that. Anyway, merch on the perch time.
Yes.
So Lisa, why don't you tell us all about merch on the perch?
I was just about to. So it's fine. I have the runner show too.
I'm sorry.
We thought it'd be cool. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. We thought it'd be cool to show some of the photos that we were able to take between the three of us of all the ongoings that were happening during Creator Camp. So just new friends we made, setting up everything for CCTV, and that place we were at, the grounds we were on for the final last bit of camp was so amazing. Walking around in the woods, out into the big field out there. So, Neil, what do you think? What do you remember from all of this?
Yeah, I think just meeting old friends. I see Marcus down on the right there, and meeting new ones. I mean, John, who I'd spoken to a number of times on the Facebook group around the Roadcaster and things like that. It was really wonderful to meet John in person. And I really enjoyed that last setting that we went to, that sort of closing ceremony
Me too.
in the woods and stuff.
Yeah.
There's so many nice, great statues. I think I've got quite a few photographs of those, just haven't gone through them yet. So there's a ton of stuff
Oh,
to
yeah. And I have
get
that
through.
video Dina took that I need to post
Oh,
of the three
yes.
of us walking through the woods. I haven't forgotten. I will get to it, but that was kind of cool to have that as a memory.
Very nice. And Mark sent us a little picture on the top left there of him in his merch as well. And maybe you want to tell us a little bit about the fact that this segment really isn't just about merch and photographs.
Yeah. I think we're gonna switch it up a little bit, because we would all love to see photographs of how you create behind the scenes, like your studio, or if you're working on something, just to get a little background and to showcase what you do. So start sending us photographs of your behind the scenes, aside from the merch, or your behind the scenes with the merch, either way. But yeah, we'd like to see what are you doing? What goes on in the background? I think that's the cool part. So send those things in.
Please, because it's always nice to see studio builds and how people create their content. It always fascinates me, especially about the environment as well, not necessarily about the gear, but like, where are you? Where are you physically creating your content?
Exactly.
I know we're talking to Johnny before, who's got a space allocated now in his main room, and that's a dedicated area for creating his content. But yeah, I'd be really interested to see what
your room is deceiving of what's happening inside. My room is very narrow.
Right. Yeah, I'm in an attic and my roof goes like this, and it's quite small, but you just have to make do with the space you've got and just get creative. And that's what interesting to me is how do people get creative with a sort of spaces? People could have a huge studio, and how do you lay that at all? Or people could be in a small box. I mean, Mark is in an attic room as well, so he's had to sort of adjust and adapt to how his workflow is. So yeah, be interested to see what people do. So send them in, as Lisa said, please do.
Yes.
Dina has mentioned, and quite right, that John was the happiest camper, and he won the happiest camper award. He was the happiest camper.
He was so lovely and just adoring.
And Dina also said that she wrote what she was going to do to embrace AI tools in a few months' time. And that's gonna work out okay, Dina. I think. Depends what tools you use. That. AI is good. Yeah. It's not going to take over the world just yet. And on that bombshell,
I love how you just yet. Okay.
On that bombshell,
love how you just threw that in.
I know, I just threw that in there. You know, I hope people can get in touch with us. Well, we want people to be a guest on this show, and believe it or not, we are already booked up until January now. Where we've got Phil coming on as our first guest in 2025, and there's a couple of people already booked in January as well. So, as Lisa said, send us your merch photos and behind-the-scene photos. That's how you can get involved. Send them over. You can nominate yourself to be a guest, or you can nominate somebody else. If you think there's somebody you've met at Creator Camp, or a great creator that's in the community that you think would be a great guest for us, please go ahead and nominate them. You don't have to tell them. They'll just show up, and then we'll just make sure that they know they're going to be on the show. What can possibly go wrong with that? And also tell us about your show. I mean, the whole point of Creative Amplifiers and this show that we created is all about showcasing the great creators of Ecamm and creators around the globe that use Ecamm to support the various workflows and projects. So let us know about you, what you do, how you create your content. And you can get involved by going on creativeamplifiers.live or click on the QR code above and get involved in the show. But this year we're all booked up, so we're going to have a little Christmas special. We're going to have a few people joining, and then it's 2025. Can you believe it? And,
no, I can't.
Yeah. I know.
Can't believe it.
Right. Well, any closing thoughts from you before we close up the show today? I think we got away with it.
Yes. I want to say thank you for pressing all the buttons, and it went swimmingly. It went great. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mark, we miss you.
We do miss you, Mark.
And yes, and thanks for everybody who joined in and commented and hung out with us. We always love it. So, and I hope you feel better.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, I'm sure we will. And we'll be back in 2 weeks' time with Homesick Mac with a little bit of music, fireside chat. We don't have a fireside chat. We have a little sort of fake candle going on. But that's the closest we can get, right? Yeah, exactly. That's the closest we can get. And who do we have? Let's have a look at a few people here. You're joining me in Filipino time, but still made it. Dan, thank you as ever for joining us. Really kind of you. George, thanks a lot. Oh, first time watching, Dina. Well, I hope Dina, it won't be your last and we've not put you off.
We didn't scare you off, Leo. We were trying to behave.
Dina, please go on the link, sign yourself up as a guest. We don't want to press gang you into it, but if we have to, we will do. And we don't bite. We're a friendly bunch 90% of the time. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Lisa, for being a wonderful co-host. Mark, we did miss you, but we got away with it, I think. We'll be back to our normal scheduling and hosts next time in 2 weeks. Take care. Thanks, Johnny, for being a wonderful guest. And we'll see you all in a couple of weeks' time. Take it easy. Bye.